Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Beacon Pines, the town where absolutely everything is as it seems, and the children are well-behaved, reasonable, and sensible. Now let's interrogate this guy that we just tackled and knocked out in a dark basement.
Still unconscious, Mr. Tolliver slumped heavily in a shoddy old chair. His hands were bound with rope, his feet tied with some loose string. The kids huddled in a circle, discussing their plan.
Did we just have a bunch of rope? Was there rope down here? Okay, whatever. It's fine. We found some rope.
One thing was certain. They couldn't just let Mr. Tolliver go. They needed to know what he was doing in Luca's house. After some deliberation, it was decided.
Okay, this isn't a thing where you do a lot of fill in the blanks. Good cop, chill cop is definitely not a technique. Also, my advice is don't choose to be a cop. That's what I think you should do. I guess it's unorthodox. You gotta give it that.
They'd run the classic good cop, chill cop interrogation.
She's having a lot of fun with her delivery. Alright, I'll handle this. Just gotta play it cool.
Luca walked calmly to the light switch, flicking it off and on a few times. Mr. Tolliver shook his head, gathering his wits.
It doesn't seem like that would have any okay, whatever. Golly, I sure got my bell wrong.
He looked over to find Luca, who returned a calming grin.
Sorry, Mr. Tolliver. This was all a big mistake. Luca, what's going on here? Why do you have me strapped down? No one's fault, really. Rollo just got a little startled. Rollo's here?
Rollo and Beck emerged from hiding to give a timid wave.
That's good. Project strength, everybody. Well, alright. Mistakes happen. You kids gave old Hiram a good scare. Let's just get me out of these ropes and call it even.
Luca glanced over to Rollo and Beck, who replied with skeptical looks.
Mr. Tolliver, why are you in my grand's basement? Well, I'm here to help, of course. Help with what? What's my gran up to? Well, if you'll just cut me loose, I can show you. How do I know we can trust you?
Mr. Tolliver exhaled with disappointment.
Luca, have I ever done wrong by you? No. And since your gran moved to town, haven't I been nothing but welcoming? Yeah. So why would I turn my back on your family now? Well, it's just... all this stuff seems pretty weird. A board with names of people from town. An archive of my dad's old disturbing patient notes.
Luca gestured to the corner.
Barrels of explosives. I can explain everything. You need to untie me. You kids deserve an explanation.
Luca looked again to Rollo and Beck. This time they shrugged. Luca began to slowly loosen the bindings.
Oh boy, okay. Listen, I don't think it was a good idea to tie him up. I think it's less of a good idea to untie him.
Mr. Tolliver gently rubbed his wrists.
Alright, that's a good lad. This'll all make sense in time.
He edged imperceptibly toward the stairs as he spoke.
No, that was extremely perceptible. You see, this town has secrets, Luca. A very dark past indeed.
Before the kids had even noticed his movement, Mr. Tolliver was at the light switch.
A past that must be brought to...
He punctuated his final words by flicking the switch and rushing up the stairs.
Okay, well, it's inappropriate. In this situation, obviously, the word I should say is dark, because, it makes... Okay, whatever, it's fine. Light! I assume he had time to say all that before they would react, because clearly nothing was going to tip them off to the fact that he was leaving. It was like 2 full body widths from the chair to the stairs. Even if the graphics don't fully represent the situation, still, it's a very impressive failure from our protagonists here. Son of a...
Beck darted to the wall and turned back on the lights. It was too late. Rollo confirmed what they all heard.
He just locked us down here. Oh, well, that's especially bad.
Mr. Tolliver's muffled voice came from behind the door.
I wasn't lying, you know. This is for your own good. You kids just keep tight down there. I'll let the adults handle this.
They looked bewildered at each other.
Play it cool, huh? Not now, Beck.
They heard the staccato thump of quick steps exiting the house. The kids looked down in resignation. This isn't how it goes in Hank Atomic. For some reason, they'd always assumed it was up to them to save their town.
I mean, when you think about it, it does seem a little ridiculous.
Luca opened his mouth, hoping to conjure some magical words to make this right. Only a hollow croak escaped. The end. Well, we certainly aren't going to find a grand resolution to our tale locked in a basement. Back to the drawing board.
That feels a little abrupt to me as an ending. 'Cause at some point, Grandma's going to come home and, like, you know, whatever that interaction is, it probably gives us something to work with. Okay, well, this is the only choice where we have any options to attempt here, so I guess let's just do that again. I do not like this at all.
They'd run the classic good cop, hard cop interrogation.
Gross.
Rollo brandished a steely gaze. I've got this. Read about it 100 times. Rollo swaggered past the chair which propped up the slumping Hiram Tolliver. Without even looking at his captive, he began with a long, blustery drawl.
Well, 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 Mr. Tolliver.
Mr. Tolliver remained motionless. Rollo spun around to face him. He'd clearly expected to rouse Mr. Tolliver with his booming voice.
Mr. Tolliver.
Beck and Luca gave each other an unsure glance. Rollo slammed his fist on the table.
I said, Mr. Tolliver!
He grabbed the table lamp and beamed it onto the unconscious face. Mr. Tolliver groaned and slowly lifted his head.
This dude is, like, profoundly photosensitive. The slamming and the shouting didn't do it, but flicking the light switch a couple of times, or just, like, turning on a lamp nearby. It's very strange.
He recoiled with a muddled, weary squint.
What in the world?
The chair wobbled as he attempted to straighten up.
Who's there?
Mr. Tolliver could only make out rough shapes through the glaring light. With a gruff tone, Rollo hoped to both conceal his voice and intimidate.
It's a powerful lamp. I'll be asking the questions here, punk. Now hold on. Let's just calm down. Oh, I am calm. Calm as a carrot in dirt. As for you, looks like you're sweating.
The doubtful expression on Beck and Luca's faces transformed into awe.
We can do this my way, or... Well, let's just say I've never needed another way.
Rollo, hitting his stride, was now channeling every detective trope his memory could recall. He slammed the table again.
Now dance! What? I don't even...
Mr. Tolliver's voice became desperate. He was nearly in tears.
You've tied me down. How on earth could I dance? Dance with your... The challenges that are put before us sometimes in our lives. Dance with your mouth, punk. Spill the beans. What are you doing poking around this house? I'm here to help Juniper. To make sure everything's ready. Oh, so you're in cahoots with Gran. No, Rolla, okay. Gran?
Mr. Tolliver was in a daze, now more confused than ever.
Gonna help her blow up the festival, eh? Blow up the festival? Good Lord.
Shook his head, feeling more and more dizzy.
No, you've got it all wrong. I sure hope this dude doesn't have a heart condition, because it sure does look like we're about to push him right over the edge, doesn't it? Where is she now? She's headed to the source. Source? What's the source? It's where...
His voice faded to a whisper.
The town began. Where it all began. What is Operation Sparkplug?
With that, Mr. Tolliver passed out cold.
Okay, this fellow's got some kind
Rollo
of...
swung around with a repentant grimace.
some kind of nervous condition or something, like a serious one. Damn, Rollo. I think you went a little too hard on him. What did he say about the source? It's where the town began. We need more information. Yeah, but we better not push Mr. Tolliver any farther. Is there anyone else who might know more? What about the History Museum? They just got set up for the festival. Nah, that tent was put up by the Valentines. Everything they do is just a bunch of fluff to glorify themselves. Is there anything more reliable? The library. If there's any information about this source thing, Kato can help us find it. Let's go get some answers. And I guess we're just... Hiram Tolliver is just... I would have left somebody behind as a guard or... I don't know. I don't know if it's a great idea to just leave him alone in the basement. When we come back, he's going to be gone. We're going to have no idea what happened. And there are going to be consequences. This is a dang nice library. Thanks. We work hard on it. Aren't you a little young to be a librarian? Oh, Kato hung out here so much, eventually they gave him a set of keys. I just keep an eye on the place for Miss Novak sometimes. They got you working for free? It's quiet and I get access to all the books I can read. What more could a person want? Fair enough. What can I do for you all? We need a favor. I already told you and Rollo I can't put you any higher on the wait list for the next Hank Atomic. And if you're here with more candy, I'll have you know I can't be bought. Call it a personal code of conscience. Actually, we're looking to do some research. Ha! Now you're speaking my language. What are you looking for? Well, that's the thing. We sort of don't know. What do you got on the history of the town? There's the county record archives. What's in those? Births, deaths, newspaper clippings, stuff like that. Pretty boring reading, but they do go all the way back to when the town was founded. Great. We'll start there.
Chapter 8. 6 feet under, 3 towns over.
There are like 60 characters in this thing, and most of them are little kids. And I just don't have the range. I apologize, everyone.
The kids spent the rest of the afternoon combing through dusty piles of old county records, desperately searching for anything that could help them make sense of Mr. Tolliver's cryptic utterance. Luca tried to shake the thought of Gran's basement, but his focus wavered. Explosives, messages hidden in jam, dossiers on various town figures, and a corkboard threaded with photos. Gran was the only family he had left. He still couldn't bring himself to believe the worst. But the old map with the symbol of explosives in town square made that difficult. As the sun began to set, the kids were no closer to the truth.
If I have to read any more records, my eyeballs are gonna pop. Well, we have to keep digging. If I dig another word, I'm gonna end up in one of these asinine death records. Rollo Cotter lived a full and wonderful life till he read so much boring crud that his brain oozed out his ears.
Rollo shut his book with an assertive nod.
If you've got a better idea, spit it out. You sound like my sister. Yeah, keep pushing your luck, pal. It won't be boring county records that kill you. I'll put you in the obituaries myself. Okay. It's a lot of explicit death threat there.
Wilbur muttered under his breath.
You're a county record. Really? That's the best you've got. When I'm done with you, you'll be the footnote in history. Just like
Slammed her finger down on the open page before glancing down to read.
J. Hartford here. I'd love to see you try. Hey! We're all a little tired here. Let's just take a minute and...
Something tickled the back of Luca's mind.
Wait, what was that name back? In the obit? J. Hartford. From the Brookville Tribune 20 years ago. Well, that can't be right. What is it? J. Hartford? That's my grand's name, Juniper Hartford. Juniper Hartford. Maybe there were just two J. Hartfords. Mrs. Hartford is survived by her young daughter, E. Hartford. My mom's name is Eleanor. Okay, this is getting creepy. If your gran is 6 feet under 3 towns over, then who am I living with?
The question hung in the air.
Obituaries generally use whole names, right? Alright, gang, I gotta close up for the night.
Beck rubbed her eyes.
How late is it? Almost 10. Oh, crap. Pa's gonna kill me. I gotta go. Yeah, my parents will be worried sick. Okay, let's meet up as early as we can at the festival tomorrow. Well, what are you gonna do about the unconscious man in your basement? I'll think of something. Great plan. Always goes solidly.
Luca's heart was pounding as he approached the house. If he was lucky, Gran, or whoever it was, hadn't gotten back yet. And of course, there was Mr. Tolliver tied up and unconscious in the basement. Dealing with him would be the first order of business. Luca shook out his arms to calm his nerves before entering.
So, okay, look, I'm not an expert at this kind of thing. But I did see this episode of Breaking Bad once. Let's call it Plan B.
He held perfectly still, tempering his breath, and listened closely. She was asleep. His only hope was that she hadn't found Mr. Tolliver before dozing off.
Yeah, that sure would be nice. I don't love that we just left this open. Or maybe we didn't. Oh no.
Mr. Tolliver was nowhere to be seen.
Maybe he woke up, escaped from his bindings, and left without a trace.
Or maybe Gran knew everything.
Also, like, even that as a best case scenario is very, very bad for us. What do I do?
Luca's hungry stomach groaned. Not realizing it, he'd gone the entire day without eating.
Okay, I can figure this out. I just need a little brain food.
Luca rushed over to the pile of jam jars, unscrewed one, and shoveled a handful into his mouth.
I'm afraid your jam delivery will be delayed.
Lift the lid to read the label.
Mr. Nuncreed. Okay, now I can think. So if Gran knows we tied up Mr. Tolliver, I'm screwed. If she doesn't know, then I need to play it cool because I'm only probably screwed. I guess the only option is to go to bed and act as if nothing is wrong. Gran will think Mr. Tolliver finished what he was sent to do and left when he was done. I mean, like, even if he got out of his own volition, though, right? Like, he's definitely told somebody, or... Hard to imagine him electing to keep this to himself. You know what we're going to do? There we go. That'll give her something else to focus on. Gran? Okay, alright, stick to the plan. Just go to bed and play it cool.
As Luca climbed the final stair, the emotion of the day dragged heavily on him. With each consecutive step, his legs weakened. His stride began to falter.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
He tried to grab for the railing to steady himself. Something was wrong.
Come on, legs. Just a few more steps.
Luca groaned and tried to move. His limbs might as well have been bolted to the ground. Through numb lips, he mumbled just before falling asleep.
The room? Hooray, we did it. I mean, this seems like a pretty good way to deal with Mr. Nuncreed, honestly. Sweet boy. What did you get yourself into? I reckon she probably has a pretty good idea, actually. Rest now, and let me handle everything.
Chapter 9. A speech to end all speeches.
Chapter 9. Oops, I accidentally slept through the ending.
Luca awoke to find himself face down in bed. He moaned into his pillow. Why would Gran drug him? Or rather, why was she trying to drug Mr. Nuncreed?
Okay, come on, think about it for just a second.
Shaking the questions from his woozy head, Luca snapped back to the matter at hand.
Even assuming, that she doesn't know about Mr. Nuncreed working for whatever it is that's going on here, he's enough of a creep that I think he's warranted just like a small amount of poisoning. I'm not saying like lethally. That said, I'm not here to judge. Is there anything else in the room that we can interact with? I know Luke is excited about getting to the festival and everything. Okay. Gonna try those doors every single time. Is the sink still on? Interesting. So maybe she just never came into the kitchen. We should just go say just a few words real quick, right? This Luca doesn't know that his father's not actually buried here anyway, so. Where have you been? Gran put something in the jam. Yeah, we know. Secret messages for secret conspirators. Not this one. The one intended for Mr. Nuncreed. Put me to sleep. Whoa, ho, ho. Sly devil. I think she's trying to remove him from the equation. He might be in danger. Or she's just trying not to get assaulted. Could be either one, really. Have you found anything? We looked around, but haven't seen anything odd. Your Gran is nowhere to be found. But Mr. Nuncreed is just loafing around waiting for the speech. What speech? Mayor Gus just got up to the podium. Everyone's gathering at the stage. Let's get moving. Is listening to a speech really the best thing we could be doing with our time at this moment?
Augustus Valentine nervously wiped his brow.
Is this thing... hello, Beacon Pines. I'm Augustus Valentine, your mayor, and... Well, I suppose you already know that. Okay. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize someone who couldn't be here today. This town wouldn't be where it is without my father, Sharper Valentine. So I thought we could begin with a round of applause befitting such a great man. Okay. A smattering is a type of round. Even that's more than the old codger deserved.
Gus cleared his throat and awkwardly loosened his tie.
Right, where was I?
William Kerr bounded on the stage with the energy of a preacher at a big tent revival.
Gus Valentine, everyone.
He gave Gus a hearty slap on the back and motioned him off the stage.
Honestly, Gus looks fine with that. Let's hear it for our mayor. What a great turnout. Oh, heck, I didn't prepare anything. But I suppose I could say a few words. It would be a shame to waste such a beautiful podium.
Mr. Kerr pulled a thick stack of note cards out from his vest.
Community, conviction, commitment. These are the things we celebrate at Perennial Harvest. For us, these are the pillars of the bridge to a better tomorrow. But I think it's time to add a new pillar. Change. Change is a powerful thing. It's inexorable, unavoidable, and undeniable. And yes, I do own a thesaurus. Why do you ask? And I am dadgum thankful for it. Change is the reason we're all together today. It's hard for me to believe that it was only 4 years ago when fate brought me here. A simple business trip which brought me to a small town which would change my life forever.
Mr. Kerr took a moment to survey the crowd.
You know what?
He wiped away a single tear.
From the second I set foot in Beacon Pines, something about this place has held me captive. You see, change represents opportunity. It represents potential. It was change that helped me recognize the potential of this place. To see that the people of this town, despite suffering great loss, still held on to the things that made them special.
He thumped the podium to emphasize each word.
Community, conviction, commitment. Change.
Mr. Kerr nodded confidently, biting his lip.
It's getting a little intense here.
The crowd was silent, in rapt attention.
Fate made a perfect match that day. Nothing is more important to you all than community. And Perennial Harvest is a community, first and foremost.
Mr. Kerr methodically made eye contact with each section of the crowd.
And the only way you made it through the foul harvest was an unshakable conviction. A conviction that a better tomorrow was just over the horizon. Perennial Harvest was founded on the conviction that we are that horizon. This festival is a symbol of our commitment to each other.
His voice began to build to a crescendo.
We now walk hand in hand into a future we will shape together. And that is what change is all about. Grabbing the future by the scruff of the neck and making things happen. Change is a choice. I am tickled pink that we will all be making that choice together. How great is that? Just imagine what we can accomplish. That was a pretty muffled explosion. What was that?
The crowd began to look around nervously.
Don't worry. A little thunder isn't going to ruin this day. Everyone remain calm.
Mr. Kerr quickly flicked through his note cards.
Where was I? Through all of my travels, I have learned one true thing. One always reaps what they sow. We have all planted a lot of good in this town. And so it is with a happy heart that I can proclaim.
He raised his hands up to the heavens.
Our harvest awaits.
At that moment, a merciless wall of impossibly cold air ripped through the crowd, instantly freezing everyone and everything it touched. For a man like William Kerr, this was a fitting way for things to end. on a stage, with an entire town frozen in rapt attention for the rest of time. The end. There's that ice again! Whenever I think we're getting close, it comes along and ruins everything. Maybe we should just quit? Maybe you should just close the book, walk away, and never think of me again. No, I don't mean that. We got a little closer this time. We just need to try again. Please.
Out of curiosity, did we pick up any new places where we could use Sly or anything? No, okay.
They'd run the classic good cop, sly cop interrogation.
I don't think any of this is going to work until we try good cop, time cop.
Luca and Rollo ducked behind a barrel, leaving Beck to her task. With a few crisp snaps, she roused Mr. Tolliver.
What? Well, what's going on here? You're that Modwell girl. Please, call me back. Sorry about all this.
Mr. Tolliver looked down and shifted a bit, testing his restraints.
It seems there's been a mix-up. You see, I'm down here for the same reason you are. Juniper sent you here?
Beck caught herself before letting the surprise manifest on her face. She'd already gotten him to reveal his relation to Gran. This was gonna be easy.
You know how Juniper is with her precautions. Operation Sparkplug has us all on edge. I guess she thought you needed some backup. But she sent a child. What better way to avoid prying eyes? Who would suspect a kid? Oh, I suppose that makes sense.
Mr. Tolliver wriggled a bit in his restraints.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Beck quickly removed the ropes.
That had to be uncomfortable. A little, yeah. But you understand. We never know who to trust in this town.
Mr. Tolliver rubbed the growing knot on his forehead.
That's very true. So, it turns out we're both here to...
Beck twirled her hand, as if to prompt Mr. Tolliver to finish her thought.
destroy the evidence.
Beck shook her head and clicked her tongue.
Yep, the old gal is nothing if not thorough.
Mr. Tolliver let out an amused huff in agreement.
She sure is. I can't blame her, though. If anyone were to find out that we're going to destroy the source... well, we both know how bad that might be. No one will know anything once I finish cleaning things up down here.
Beck was on a roll now, playing Mr. Tolliver like a fiddle.
You're sure you can finish this up on your own? Juniper trusted me for a reason. You can leave the rest to me. Oh, well, good. There is one more loose end I'll go work on. Loose end? Oh, it's nothing, really. The other day, I had the radio on scan while restocking the candy shelf. And wouldn't you know it, I intercepted an odd phrase in a perennial harvest transmission. Underground secrets. Well, that's ominous. I think it might be a password, but Juniper dismissed it. Said it wasn't mission critical. Well, what's the password for? We don't know. So we have a password, but nowhere to put it. That's gotta mean something, right? Yeah, good thinking. You should probably go work that one out. I've got this under control. That's a relief. Between you and me, this basement gives me the willies.
Heading for the stairs, Mr. Tolliver hesitated and turned to Beck with a puzzled look. She grinned and gave him a peppy wave. With a shrug, he continued up the stairs, whistling a jaunty tune.
You guys catch that? Sure did. This whole time, Mr. Tolliver's had a candy shelf, but all he ever sells us is apples.
Beck blinked slowly in disappointment.
No, the password, Rolo? Oh, well, sure. But once things are back to normal, I'll be having a word with Mr. Tolliver about that candy shelf. Fine. In the meantime, I've got an idea.
She turned to the table and began tearing small scraps of paper.
He said he heard a password on the radio. Any good spy transmission is never what it seems.
Beck marked each scrap of paper and leaned back.
We just need to find the hidden meaning. Okay. What's another word for underground? Buried, covered. Could it be a cover-up? Maybe it's one of those each letter's a number thingies. So U would be 21. N would be 14. D would be... Ooh. It's an anagram. Nuncreed's drugstore.
Luca and Beck looked at Rolo with amazement.
Rolo, that was incredible. Well, it's either that or Kren's new drugstore. Yeah, you were probably right the first time. How did you do that? What can I say? I love ciphers. Well, I guess we know where to go next. I don't know, that seems pretty thin to me, actually, but fine. There's only so many places on this map we can go, so we should probably... I mean, we should probably avoid her, right? But, like, the way the game is set up, it can't be the case that anything that would trigger an ending except for us making a word choice, right? So... You scared me half to death. Sorry. You kids haven't seen Mr. Tolliver around, have you? Nope. He's got me waiting around like the last slice of pie. I swear that man would be late to his own funeral. I wonder where he went, because he would have had to have passed her to get out of our house, right? Hold on. Never too busy to just, like, take a second and... There we go. Just really bask in it. Okay, back on the case. You're late, Augustus. Sorry, sister. I was caught up with work. Work? You? I had a few more details to lock down for the festival. Oh? And what do you have to report? What is this insipid town festival really about? Well, I think...
Gus looked around nervously.
I think Mr. Kerr really does just want to do something good for the town. He's actually a pretty nice guy. You should spend some time with him. I didn't pull strings installing you as mayor so that you could make friends. Your job is to help me figure out what Kerr and Perennial Harvest's true intentions are with this town. We have a responsibility. This is our father's town. Was. Excuse me? This was our father's town. He's gone, Eris. He isn't coming back. Father left us with nothing but problems. Mr. Kerr came here and offered to help. We accepted that help. We didn't agree to them turning Father's warehouse into a toxic dumping ground. That's just a temporary arrangement. The glow can be seen from our damned backyard. They are dumping their nasty little secrets on us. When all this inevitably goes wrong, who do you think will be blamed?
Eris's cry hung in the air.
We have a new choice to make now, sister. This town is going to change whether we like it or not. Are we going to choose to be a part of that future, or be forgotten in the past. It's a shame. Father named you Augustus, but you will always be just a Gus. Good night, Harris. I'll see you at breakfast tomorrow. There's something about it being her name that makes it hard for me to not say the H at the beginning of it. It's kind of a weird thing. It's getting late, children. It feels wrong not to say it, even though I know that is the way that word is pronounced. Knowledge, he spat with a sneer. There exists a gulf between knowing something and being able to do a damn thing about it. I do hate it when the villain makes a good point. I do enjoy metatextual reading, lady. Hey there. Kid whose name I definitely remember. Solomon, maybe?
Solomon stood proudly at the entrance to the drugstore.
Aha, what'd I tell you?
Holding a brown bag overflowing with black licorice.
Hey, Solomon. We're looking for Mr. Nuncreed. Is he still in there? I'm afraid not. Then where'd you get the candy from? You might say we have an arrangement.
Solomon shoveled a surprising amount of licorice into his mouth.
Is that stuff good for dogs? Sometimes it's the small pleasures in life. Though we might not always have family to rely on, licorice has never let me down. Well, I can't say licorice would be my first choice, but whatever floats your boat. You can tell a lot by a person about their choice of confection. Oh, yeah, I guess. I like sour gobs. I'm certain you do. I always wondered why Mr. Nuncreed kept licorice in stock. You must eat enough of it to make it worthwhile. There are many ways to earn loyalty. For some, it's as easy as cold hard cash. What a weird little narratively unimportant meeting that was, it seems. Well, he's right. It's locked. Well, there's gotta be more clues. Okay, let's see. Can't wedge ourselves into the alley. The answer's gotta be around here somewhere. Have you ever seen anyone actually use this thing? Besides Mr. Nuncreed? No.
Beck cupped her hands on the glass to peek inside.
That is not a normal phone booth. It's got like a blinky keypad. Why would there be a blinky keypad? Crin's nude rug store. I mean, underground secrets. The password.
Beck flung open the door and they all squeezed in.
I do like Kren's nude rug store as sort of like an exclamation of just like general disdain. You get frustrated with somebody and you're just like, Kren's nude rug store, dude. What is wrong with you? All right, let's see here.
Luca cracked his knuckles and entered the letters into the keypad.
Underground secrets. Well, it sounds like that did something. Great. Now what?
The inside of the phone booth dropped loose from its shell. Without even the space to panic, they closed their eyes, held their breath, and accepted their fate. Suddenly, the chaotic descent slowed to an effortless landing. It was unclear where they ended up, but at least it was solid ground. The air was stagnant and smelled vaguely of chlorine.
I knew it. You knew that there was a secret hub full of strange tubes under the phone booth? Of course I did. Didn't I say that? No. Well, I definitely thought it. Luca, you remember when I said how cool it would be if the transdimensional conduits from Hank Atomic issue number 12 were real? Rollo, at one point or another, you said that about every technology ever discussed in Hank Atomic. That's why I'm such a good predictor. Hey, you're not going to find one he missed, I guess. Looks like each of these has something written on them. Mining Operations Alpha. You guys have mines here? Not that I know of. No, this town's all farms and fertilizer. And a series of tubes. Pa always says you can only trust a miner up to the point where they hit gold. Not sure how that wisdom applies in this exact situation. Well, that's the thing about Pa. You don't always realize what he means until it's too late. That seems very useless. Thank you, Rollo. Perennial Harvest, main office. That's where my mom works. What does she do? Science stuff? Is she involved in all this? We just moved here. How could she be involved? Yeah, alright, true. The Valentine Fertilizer Warehouse. Isn't that where you almost got snatched? Yeah. Why would Perennial Harvest have a tube going to the old Valentine place? Oh, this is starting to feel like something big. Well, I think we're just going to have to leap into one of these tubes and hope. But unfortunately, I do think that's maybe something we should do next time, because I am just a little bit out of time here. That's going to be it for us for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. When you all come back next time, we're going to hurl these 3 children down a giant hole and see what happens. It worked out so well the last time. I just can't imagine anything going wrong. And we'll see you then.